So we wanted to share some things about the duo. We've been playing together for 30 years. And so it's a very deep friendship and musical relationship that's been really important for both of us. And we wanted to share some of the music that really helped to form the duo and that friendship over many years. Some music that we shared last night, but also some music that we didn't play last night. So
it was when we formed the duo, we were both students studying in Buffalo, and we wanted to do something different as a duo. We were looking for something that would be special to us, and that has been a motto through the years. We'll do this because it's our thing. Mm-hmm. And when recording projects came the possibility to record, we also did this, and we will present some of this today. We are very few at all. We can talk, you can interrupt anytime, you can ask questions.
Yeah.
Let's do more of a conversation, I think, would be nice.
Yeah.
So here we have chosen three composers. Amy, of course, that will make a very brief intervention. Nancarrow and Erik. And we'll start with Nancarrow. Are you familiar with Nancarrow's music?
Well, you heard us play some in Vermont, and you heard the concert last night, so yeah. Did you know it before?
Well, I have a big collection of contemporary scores. And so I know the name, but I didn't look very
much in the music. Yeah. And did you study Nancarrow's music in your studies?
No, I just heard in like music history classes, but not very deep.
Okay, good.
Nancarrow is a very unique composer in the 20th century. And the reason why pianists don't know him is because he almost didn't compose for piano. He composed mostly for a mechanical instrument, for the player piano. It's not a pianola. A pianola you operate with the feet, and the piano plays with the player piano roll. This is a player piano that plays by itself. You plug it, and it's a whole complex mechanism that makes the roll. The roll tells the piano what to play. And he worked from the late 40s to the 80s, only composed for the player piano. And he composed about 50 studies for player piano in this way, and he started to explore what to do with this instrument. And he became a close friend, the instrument. What it could do is very easily to play very complex rhythms. And he was from very early on interested in polyphony and combining different speed, expanding the way composers use rhythm in the 20th century, so influenced by other cultures, influenced by Indian music and African music. He wanted to expand this aspect of music. Here's Nancarrow at a quite old age in his studio in Mexico City. He was American, but he moved to Mexico at the end of the 1930s. And here are the rolls in his working table. He had a very long working table where he put the rolls. Here he's punching the rolls himself, hole by hole, making his own music, and then he would listen to his music in his studio, in his pianos, and just told anybody about it. Pretty much, it was a private
all day,
thing.
every day, by himself in the studio.
Yeah.
We went to his studio.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very isolated from the house, its own building, very thick walls, and he just worked all day, every day, alone.
So, this is Nancarrow, and this was our first recording project, very first after we started transcribing his studies for piano for hands. And in this recording, we included all the piano pieces solo he wrote before the player piano and after the player piano. In the 80s, he became famous, and people began to ask him, could you write something for people, not anymore for the machine? He had a very hard time with that, but he did.
So the three canons for Ursula and the tango were written in the 1980s, and then the last four pieces were early pieces from the 40s.
Yeah.
And then the studies were in between.
So we included 11 studies in this CD, and then there was a second CD where we included 2 more, and then 4, like 5 more, yeah. And some are impossible to play, and some are possible for 2 people.
First recording
Yeah. I mean,
of Nancarrow.
the pieces, the bottom pieces were all recorded, but this is the first time the studies were recorded. In our arrangements, because, we arranged them with composer Erik. We arranged them. And so...
The original player piano pieces were recorded before. They were released in LP in the 1970s and then re-released by Vergo in the 90s. And there is collections with the same label, the entire original player piano piece, which is in itself very special because he had special pianos, and we'll get there.
To that.
But we will play a little bit of a piece which is called Sonatina in our recording in an arrangement for piano for hands by Ivan Mikhashov, who was our teacher in Buffalo, and very close to Nancarrow. For example, the tango was written for Ivan Mikhashov. And this piece he wrote it in 1943 for solo piano. One pianist, but nobody played it because it was too difficult for one pianist. He had this problem that what he was imagining wasn't really playable. That's why, in part, he had very bad performances of his music, and he was very frustrated. He said, "I'm going to write for the machine."
Going to Mexico and write for the machine.
So this is the third movement of the Sonatina, arranged by Ivar and played by us.
One person, can you imagine?
Wow.
One person playing
This is
that?
piano playing?
This is us playing four hands.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
I'm
playing
listening.
it. Yeah.
One person.
But it was originally written for one
Oh
person.
my god.
So maybe if you take it slower,
Very
some
slower.
people have attempted, and some very very virtuoso players have played it. But at this tempo, I don't know, he wrote this very fast tempo. He was looking for something like this. in fact, when he listened to this arrangement, he said, "Yes, that's good, so good." And he punched a roll to hear the piece, the entire piece. This is the moment to hear how it sounded.
So when he heard Ivar's arrangement of it, and he approved of it, and then years later we thought, well, maybe there's some of these player piano studies that could be arranged for four hands that he would not mind. But we started the project right after he had died. He died in 97, and we started in 99 or something.
But his interests were very clear, this speed, very gymnastic kind of playing. He was very much influenced by jazz. He was a jazz trumpet player. You heard in the first set of pieces we played last night, it's clearly blues, boogie there from jazz. And very cross rhythms, very different groupings, irregular groupings, different in each voice. And then later on he got interested in canons. Here there is lots of canons too. Canons, and in particular canons in the medieval style, where the voices move at different speeds. And we'll get there too. So what he did was to modify his player piano, so his polyphony could be heard very clearly. So like having a harpsichord almost playing, like the harpsichord is good for Bach's music, or it's where you hear well the polyphony. He had two player pianos. In one of them, he took away the felt and he put metal, so it's wooden with metal. And in the other one, he hardened the felt of the piano, and then put leather and a metal tack piece. So it sounds very harsh.
Yeah.
His piano sound. These recordings from his player piano music are very harsh. So when we play the normal piano, it's already a different world. But of course we can voice, and the player piano can shape things, we can do other things. Here's an example of, we played last night 3B, 3D, 3C. This is 3E from the same piece, also very, very fast boogie piece with this sound.
Yeah, the threes are called the boogie woogie suite.
Oh.
So it's everything's a boogie woogie.
one of the few pieces that falls apart and ends in a diminuendo. Most of pieces are like this, boom,
Yeah.
with accumulation, more and more and more and more and more. This piece has many layers of different tempi, and he wrote it like this. And of course, it has this bass that goes this in one tempo, and then these other things it have their own tempo. And he could cut very easily this in a player piano, because the player piano, you can place a note anywhere you want. You don't need to, it doesn't count. No.
And it's just the distance between the holes is the speed, right? So you can make the distance however you want.
So the reason why he replaced the hammer to metal plate is to remove the resonance or something?
So it's really clear, the attack. So the attack is really bright and really clear.
You're like
Yeah,
harpsichord.
yeah. So he could really hear the attacks.
There is one thing that is called mandolin attachment that was in some pianos from the time. There was lots of ragtime and woogie played at the time, and heard in the radio, and many pianists played together. And this mandolin attachment would come in the pianos where you put coins. These mechanical instruments is something that comes between the hammers and the strings, is metal pieces. So it sounded like this. The ragtime sound was like this. And he was looking for something else. For something like this, percussive.
Jazz player.
Jazz player.
That.
Yeah.
Early jazz, early jazz.
Yeah.
It's one piece of paper.
Yes.
One piece of paper.
If you roll it faster, it makes faster tempo.
Yes,
you
you
can
can determine the
set-
tempo.
You can
You
change
can
the
set
tempo. Yeah.
Tempo of
Yeah.
volume.
Yeah. And one thing that Elena discovered in her dissertation she wrote about Nancarrow musicology was that the pieces always feel like they speed up. And so she started measuring it, and in fact, the pieces do speed up. There's an acceleration effect because of the size of the paper. The thicker the paper, the more or less.
Well, there are like two spools, and you
feeds.
take the paper and it goes like this, no? And
Yeah.
one speed, this is the one that is moving. But this becomes thicker. And this is thinner, so it
so
begins to take more paper.
Power is a heavier,
Yeah.
heavier
Yes.
intake.
So many of the pieces do accumulate, and they do kind of feel like they want to go faster because that's how he heard it. So he wrote music for that, maybe not even being aware that it was happening when he wrote it, which is interesting.
He liked it's the effect he liked. He said, I'm used to this, this is the way it's played. Also in African music, he said, when people start playing these patterns over and over, with the excitement will make you go faster and faster.
Right.
Yes, it's a natural process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's natural playing it too, that it kind of wants to speed up. Sometimes more than we want it to.
So he started experimenting with this, and he said the first 20 studies were, I was feeling my way into the instrument. Studies 14 to 19, and we play 14 and 15, are a series of canons, tempo canons, where he said, well, let's see, if I combine to speed, how does it sound, how does it feel? And then he was into it, and he could just compose for this instrument he knew. And one kind of a very important piece is this one, study number 21. It's very different from number 20 that we played last night. There was the one with one note, the start with one note. 21 is called canon. Is it canon 2? Canon X. X. Like this, from the 1950s.
Maybe his most famous piece. If you know any Nancarrow, it might be this one.
It has two voices. And start with the bass voice that is low and starts to accelerate. And then it starts with the top voice that it begins extremely fast and begins to decelerate. So
As it lowers. in
as it lowers.
register.
So there is this X effect. Maybe we have time. This is from a movie they made. Some Germans, they went to his studio and recorded his Nancarrow in old age playing in his studio. You see how it works with the paper here. Study number 21. So 3 minutes of. I mean, it took him like 6 months to punch these pieces. Okay.
We don't play that one.
But it has been arranged
It was arranged for orchestra.
for orchestra or free arrangement. That is the effect of the X and the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.